The following is an encore presentation. Welcome to Joy of Business with host Simone Milasas, a dynamic business leader with a difference. Simone has founded and operated many businesses from a young age and has always done business differently. Today, Simone is the worldwide coordinator of Access Consciousness and travels the world presenting Joy of Business programs using access tools and empowering people to know that they can create business in a different way and make money doing it. Simone Milasas, weekly on OMTimes Radio.
Hi everybody, welcome to OMTimes with Simone Milasas, your host in Joy of Business. And today I'm actually in Sydney, cold, drizzly, and it's really cold here. I'm wearing big scarves and cashmere, but then I am talking to someone from Sweden, so they just laugh at me when I say that I'm cold. So today who we have on the show is Lisen Bengtsson. Welcome, Lisen.
Hi, Simone. It is funny that you say it's cold because today is a sunny, warmer day in Sweden, and it's unusual for September to be this warm. So it's kind of almost a bit too, even more funnier. Yeah, it is.
There you go. We're swapping over.
Yeah.
So, and I'm excited about the show. The title of the show today is called Creating a Life and Business with Infinite Possibilities. So how to get any better than that? So basically it's like, so Lisa's born in Sweden. She lives in Sweden. She's traveled the world, hugely. I know you speak quite a few different languages, don't you? Hurdy-gurdy, which is Swedish, English, German.
Yes. Good morning, yes.
It's good morning, wie geht's? And what else do you speak?
Well, I grew up in Argentina as a kid, so I do speak Spanish, not perfectly, but I do.
Right.
Swedish and Danish I do understand very well and kind of get along there. So it's interesting. And I was just in Paris, and when I was 20, I was fluent in French, but I haven't talked it for 20 years. So I was like, wow, there's a lot to catch up again. So that was very interesting for me and my brain. And when I came home, I'm like, wow, so many languages in my head are active now. It was very interesting just to be with that for 2 days. And now I can talk English again because it was like going over to French all the time. So
I'm always amazed at the languages people can speak. Especially when coming from Europe, it's like, you're surrounded by countries that speak all these different languages, so I get it. And it's like in Australia, it's like, well, there's New Zealand, so which I happen to have a Kiwi sitting right next to me, Rebecca Holt, and it's like, so they do speak a little oddly. But it's like, I'm amazed. So you're very multicultural. You have fluent in all these languages. And you've also worked in many, many different businesses and many, many different industries and created so many things yourself. And it's like, yes, I know that you're a certified facilitator in Access Consciousness. And it's like, I'd love today, it's like in this segment, like this hour we have here today, and it's like what tools, processes, anything you like, Lisa, that we can give to people that empower them to actually create a life. Like I love the title of this. It's like creating a life and a business with infinite possibilities. So my first question to you is, because one of the things I see people do all the time is they separate their life and their business. And it's like, it's like I work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, or must have Sundays for family day or drinking day if you're in Australia, whatever that is. So it's like, so tell me a little bit about like how you see creating a life and a business with infinite possibilities works for you.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I've also been to your classes, and you do talk about not separating business and your life, like your life is your business. And I grew up with that. So my parents are antique dealers, and what happened was that I, at that point, did not always like was that there was always business involved in everything. So there was, in dinner conversation was business. There was always business included, from morning to evening. One of the things my parents unfortunately didn't do was to take time for them to do things they really wanted to do that were different. So basically there was a focus that it always was business. But it was also great because I learned to not make that a problem. I did not make a problem that we were working evenings or weekends or anything like that. So I didn't always understand when people said things like, oh, well, I'm supposed to have a free time. Oh, I'm working too long hours. I should be taking less. I'm like, but if you do what you like, you won't really have a problem with it. Okay, there's things you have to be willing to have included, your family or whatever you have, so you don't exclude that. And And I learned then, like, okay, that's where I have to choose to create what I would like to have. And business has always been part of it. So I was like, oh, anything I like. I think I've been employed max 1 to 1.5 years. The rest has been creation of different things with my own businesses. And that's the thing I saw, like, I was so limited in that business where I was, but what I could do, because there was always somebody telling me, no, that's not possible. They don't see it. I'm like, wow, what if you just encourage your employees to do more? And I was like, that was what I didn't understand, because when I was on my own, I could use all my ideas and create them. And then when I was employed, I was like, oh, I'm only allowed to deliver this much. I'm like, wow, that's a bit interesting. And I do wish companies to change in that way, that they can support the possibilities that are inside of people, because they all have kind of amazing qualities, amazing potential, and then they're put in a box and they're only basically only allowed to deliver a certain amount of things. And I think that can change a lot. And it's one of the things I guess a lot of people choose to have their own business because of that, and to be able to explore things that nobody else has explored.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things there. When I used to, for a long time, I was like, I am never going to work for anybody else. Like, I worked for some people, and then I was like, I will only own my own business. And then I realized that there was like a resistance to it. It wasn't really a choice. I'm living from this like choiceless world. So I was like, okay, hang on a second. What if I was willing to work with somebody else, and it was also, I was willing for it to look really different? And that's exactly what I found. And it's like, I mean, you and I just attended a class recently. I was there live. You were there on live stream. Yeah. Benevolent Capitalism with Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, and Stephen Stitzer Bowman. And that was amazing. I really get that everyone that's been to that class, it's like the things that are showing up in their life and in their business, their money flows, their choices are expanding is probably the one thing that I've noticed the most. And it's like, to be that benevolent leader, whether you're in, owning your own business, whether you're working with somebody else or whatever you're choosing. And it's like, if you want to check it out, go to benevolentcapitalism.com. And it's like, it's sort of the way you always knew business should be done. And the way you should treat other people. Like that's the way it should be. And it's like, and I get like the place of going into the resistance of going, no, well, I'll do it on my own, rather than like, okay, what would it look like if we worked in a world that sort of included everybody and everything? And it's like, what would you create with your business? And it's like, what would you create with your life? And it's like, what would that look like, creating a life and a business with infinite possibilities? And it's like, and I want to add one thing, that with the infinite possibilities, to me, is the willingness to actually lose everything as well. We've, I've had, with my partner today, we've had some really full-on stuff happen today that most people would sort of crack under pressure or go into the trauma and drama of the devastation. And from the moment we woke up, we just kept going, okay, how does it get any better than this? This is going to be okay. What's right about this we're not getting. Like, it's going to end up being okay, but we just didn't know what it was going to look like. And I think people avoid creating their life and their business based on the things that they've decided would set them back, rather than actually going, all right, so what would it take for us to create around this and to out-create this and to go beyond all of this? So 3 things you can ask for. If you come across some crunchy moments in your life and your business, is ask, how can you create around this, out-create it, and also create beyond it? And everything it doesn't allow you to actually make those choices where you just right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all names, shorts, boys and beyond. Again, if you want to find out about the Access Clearing Statement, go to theclearingstatement.com. But if you've been listening to the Joy Business shows, you would know that.
But really, if you hadn't, like, and I remember when I heard the clearing statement first time, because sometimes it's weird that we're doing something so strange in the area of business where it's so structured sometimes. And I was like, when I started Access, I thought it was really weird. And one of the things I thought, well, I can always try it out and at least see, does it change something in my life? Nobody has to know. I can choose to explore it, to test it. And it has changed so much, because one of the things I made myself wrong because I started Access when I didn't have money. So I made myself wrong that I did not know so much about business, did not know so much about money. And I remember one time, because I was talking to Gary, the founder, and I was talking about money, about something I was looking at. And he was basically, I don't remember the words, but basically like, what if you're not wrong with money? What if you know more about money than what you're judged at the moment because of your bank account. He said it really brilliantly, and he usually does, and I don't remember it, but it just hit in my head because I was only concluding from what I was creating at that moment that I was not good at it. And that really flipped so much in me looking at money in a very different way, and also willing maybe to starting to receive that there is something I knew about it. But not necessarily.
And how many points of view? Yeah, how many points of view do people buy into that are from their parents or, you know, from their friends or their school or their workplace or whatever that is about money? I mean, there's some things recently, it's really interesting that we've been talking to some finance guys and they're like, nobody does this. Nobody lives like this. How can this be? And they literally don't believe some of the things that we've created. And we're like, oh, we just realized today how far out of this reality we are. And this reality is going, we don't believe you, you're lying. We're like, no, we're just box. And it's like, okay, so now how do we keep creating out of the box and then also like create those infinite possibilities and not allow this reality to pull you down or stop you? And it's like, so anywhere that you're allowing this reality or anyone to stop you, will you destroy and uncreate it? Time to go, Diane. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all known, shorts, boys and beyonds. Because infinite possibilities is not limited possibilities. It's not finite possibilities. It's infinite possibilities. Anything can show up. You can create anything and go beyond every single thing that you've ever perceived possible.
Yeah, and I guess that most people don't even have a reference to what that means. Because in business, very often we are supposed to know what you're going to do, what the target, how you're going to get there. And during the course of the Netherlands Capitalism class, I adored that class because one thousand of things that happened, but one of those thousand things for me was like every time I see myself limiting myself, I can really realize how I do it now much, much clearer. And it's almost like the ease and the infinite possibilities are really in front of my face, but I hadn't been willing to see them because I had a point of view or something underneath that decided this is how it's going to be. Like I have to work hard or I have to show that I can or that I have extreme good ideas. Like there was a sub-world where I had a lot of points of views how things should be. And letting go a lot of those, things have just been up in my face and showing me, hey, this is what's possible. This is what's possible. And I'm like, wow, I just have to choose it and grab it. And by me wanting to explore something that is totally different, we're going to a break.
Oh, we'll find out after the break some of the stuff that Lucy's going to be exploring is something totally different. So stay tuned, enjoy business. We'll be back really soon.
What if business could be fun? What if business is the adventure of living? What are you choosing? Where do you do business that makes it easier, more fun, or more joyful for you? We'd love to see where you do business. Connect with us on Instagram at Joy of Business or Twitter at Joy of Business and share your pictures with hashtags BusinessDoneWhere and Joy of Business. Let's change the world with business. Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Hi, I'm Katrina Kavanagh, host of the I Am Wisdom radio show. I Am Wisdom is about the connection between mind work and energy work, spirituality and living a wonderful life. Looking forward to sharing each Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with you.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM-FM.
The Adventures in Business. Welcome back, everybody. What if business was the adventure of living? You're with Simone Milasas on Joy of Business on OMTimes Radio, and we've got Lisen Bengtsson from Sweden joining us. And we're talking about creating a life in business with infinite possibilities, not infinite. and the adventures of business. So let's talk about the adventures of business. And it's like you're involved in many business adventures, Lisen. And it's like, how do you choose to work on each day? It's one of the things that I find people get stuck on a lot. And it's like it's like I know one of the tools that I always ask is who or what else can I add to the business? And people go, oh, but I'm so busy already. And it's like, what if it wasn't about that? So how do you sort of choose what to work on each day? Like, do you have a schedule, or is it a matter of asking questions, or what do you do? How do you know what will create the greatest possibilities?
I was just unmuted. I was like, I'm starting to talk, and I seem not to be there. Sorry for that. One of the things I learned in business school, you had to make these beautiful lists and accomplish things, and I never really felt comfortable with those. I was good to deliver if I needed to deliver, and I was also very harsh on myself. And I knew this is not going to work, because one of the things that, especially when I started doing Access, was the part of having fun and being happy. And I was like, if those don't go together and I'm just pushing myself to do and deliver things, that won't really make me happy. And I always ask every morning, what can I do today to create a different world? What can I do today to change and contribute to my business, or to the businesses, or to the project, or whatever that is? And I always add, who can I call today? And from the space of just connecting with somebody that will create something, not that they will come to a class or be a client or anything like that. And I always have my phone ready to call people, because I know connecting with people will create something different. I just don't know how, and I cannot figure it out. And so I can say, yeah? Yeah.
I just wanted to, one of the things you just said was about you ask what's going to contribute to the world. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I know people, like it's the same thing, they start to separate their business and go, well, this is about me making money, this is about this, and they define what that is. Now, you're asking what you can contribute to the world. Can you tell our listeners a bit more about what you mean by that?
For me, it's like we live on this planet, and we're connected with everything in this planet. And before I never thought I could contribute to this world, to change anything. And I do remember studying Mahatma Gandhi when I was a teenager. I wrote even a piece on it, and it's come back lately, because it's one person that believed he knew that one choice would change something, and he stuck to that. And he was aware of what he needed to do. And it will not have to be that radical always, but for me, I have learned that even if I'm willing to ask a question, I will get some information that is different, that will contribute to a bigger picture, not only on the part that I am. Sometimes it feels like I'm vested in something in that moment that I'm working with, and I also see that there's a bigger picture, but I can never figure it out. Basically, sometimes maybe I feel I can sometimes, but that's why I'm asking a question, so I know that I just want to include everything, and we are on this planet, and I don't know. Yesterday. This is a very funny story, but I saw a TV show that is in Sweden. I don't watch TV. It was a link somebody sent me, and it was about the topic, you are connected to every person on the planet, and there's only 6 people between you and that person, whoever that is. And I was like, really? And they showed that by giving there's 2 guys, quite famous in Sweden. They give them, this is a person you're going to try to find. We're going to drop you off here. This is the village. Find somebody, and you have 6 people you can talk to around the world to meet this person. And I was like, wow, how amazing is that?
That's what they used to. Did you ever hear the Kevin Bacon thing? They used to have the 6 degrees of separation. So, but
that's kind of that thing, yeah.
Everybody knows Kevin Bacon.
It's
true, and it's like, what if we weren't separate? Hey, can I ask you, what's some of your favorite questions that you would ask when you actually talk about, contributing to the world? And it's like, what are a couple of questions that people could start with?
Well, one of the things I wind back, because I go to one of my favorite questions in creation is, what energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be to create with total ease? And because the part of ease that I've perceived, like I know that I have been really good at, I was going to say fight, but create really from hard point of views, like everything is hard. I have to fight. I have to do a lot of effort. And I haven't been willing to have the ease in my life where things are really just working out in this, I call it magic, because I feel like I have asked a question, it starts showing up. I don't always know how. And because I know the how is something that we're co-creating with the universe, with the planet, with all the people around me. And it's a question I ask basically every day. And what am I not willing to be that if I was willing to be that would create a totally different reality? And that's also me included. And everything I ask, I basically include this reality, and I don't know, this world is amazing for me. And if I'm willing to connect with it every day, I see there's a totally different way that we can be and create and receive from it. But before I was like this alone person, and now I feel that there's me with tons of people, tons of possibilities. I just have to choose. I have to choose every step. I have to choose where I go. I have to be willing to ask questions. And for me, like, I don't know, you said earlier, like, what else is possible? How does it get any better than this? Two of my absolutely favorite questions to ask. And they have changed my world so many times. And almost every day. I think I use them every day because I don't know how things will change, but I do know that I can change how I feel, where I am, what I'm choosing from this minute. And that is something I have to be willing to do for me if I'm willing to create a different world. Or at least I think so.
I like that. And do you know what? I want to play something. This is not out yet, but it's going to be out soon. And this is some ringtones that are coming out soon. They're by Gary Douglas's grandson, Zan. And this is this is not a question. I think it's a demand, and it's all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. And that's what I use a lot as well. It's like all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. But let me play you this because I think it's just hilarious. Hang on.
All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. You're pretty.
That's what he says at the end. You're pretty. So, but let me play you. There's a couple of others, and I want to play them for you because one of them also I've now set as my alarm in the morning, and it's called "Who Does It Belong? Who Does It Belong To?" Because you know how many times do you wake up and it's like you have these brilliant ideas, you create, you're like, you know, and then you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, it's like the drudgery of the world, or you think that something's not possible, or you go into doubt or fear or any of those things that really aren't true. So my alarm is now this. Hang on.
Who does it belong to? Who does it belong to? Who does it belong to?
I love the last one where he gets a bit heavier. Who does it belong to? So they are going to be available on iTunes, and you can get them on iTunes in about 2.5 weeks, I think. There's actually some of them that are available at the moment, which is one of the questions you're talking about. Hang on, let me play this one.
Yes, please do.
What is possible? What is possible?
Yes.
What is possible? What is possible?
I love them. They make me laugh. So anyway, so if you look up, if you go to iTunes, anyone listening and you want to grab any of those, it's the author of it or whatever you call it is Zan, and it's spelled Xan. Okay, so Zan, and then look up, you know, what else is possible. It's a question. Ask it, and it's like it's going to change stuff for you. A couple of the questions I use a lot, which I'd love you to take away, everyone, is what possibilities are available that we have not yet instituted, and also what possibilities are available that we've not yet asked for. Because the thing is, it's like if you're working with people as well, what if that was one of the main things that you started with each day? It's like, okay, so what possibilities are available that we've not yet asked for? Because everybody has a different awareness. And it's like, I mean, I guess that that's what Lisen's talking about too. It's like the inclusion of the whole entire planet, the world, and it's like there's so much contribution available. And it's like, how much have you been refusing the contribution from the planet, from the people, from the animals, from the trees, from all of it? And what if your life could be way easier than what you're currently making it? There doesn't have to be any trauma and drama. So anywhere that you're actually making trauma and drama more real, then as Lisen said, the magic that you can create by asking questions, will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Times a good saying, which is a number only God knows, right and wrong, good and bad, cock and pot on, and short, boys and beyond.
One of the things I've seen, because if we talk about creation and infinite possibilities, most people sometimes, if you have a business, you kind of know this energy of like, you know things, you go for it, you have a target. If you don't, you could ask yourself to become aware of what you would like to create, what you wish the world to look like. Because when you start asking questions, you will get a sense of that. You'll get some awareness. You'll get some information. And then what I usually do when I have no clue how to create it is, what are the infinite possibilities for me to create this, whatever it is, with ease, or beyond this reality, or around the planet, or what are the infinite possibilities for me to connect with people so that I can create this? Like, whatever it is that I assume or think, I ask them the question, what are the infinite possibilities? Because my mind loves to define it. So it tries to figure out a couple of versions that could be great. And I remember a couple of years ago, I was in Germany. My dad was very sick, and I was walking my dog, and I was wondering about these infinite possibilities, because I was like, yeah, sure, I understand there's lots of possibilities, but I had no idea about the concept of infinite possibilities. I wish I did, but I was basically thinking, yeah, maybe I can have some of the possibilities in my world, and most of them are maybe not for me. And when I started then looking at that, and I was asking questions, what does it mean, asking questions, and that infinite possibilities are there? What does it mean to choose? What does contribution mean? And I got this, it was almost like a flash in my head. It was like opening up this space, like, here are the infinite possibilities. They're just endless. You just have to start choosing. So when I chose one, it was like a door opened up to tons of new possibilities, and there was lots of information. And I was just playing with it as I was walking my dog, and I'm like, how much information is around us all the time that we're not willing to have because we have to figure it out? And I was like, wow, I love these with questions because they have changed so much of my world. And I just like, if you don't know what infinite possibilities are, what if you ask for it to show up, or ask the universe or this world, or basically ask your friends to show you, but I'm not sure they will know. But every time I've asked the universe, I really have asked it to show me something different in an area where I was exploring it. It has showed me that in some kind of way to give me a sense of that. Woohoo! We're on again.
And we're off to another break of infinite possibilities. You'll be back real soon with Joy Business with Simone and Lisen.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
The Laying On of Hands Healing Radio Show is about treating the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. Join me, Charles Smith, as I share life-balancing measures such as nutrition and spiritual practices to help you take charge of your own health and wellness every Thursday at 7 p.m. on OMTimes Radio.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Would your business and life like to be bigger? Would you like to have more fun with everything you do? Simone Milasas travels the world facilitating Joy of Business seminars. These classes are for you if you would like to create more money and joy, expand your business, and work smarter, not harder. Join her live or watch the online seminar from the comfort of your own home. Go to www.accessjoyofbusiness.com to register and for more information.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Okay, we're starting off with this. How does it get any better than that? I love it. She's so cute.
She is.
So, okay, I've got to do it because I've got one more to do, okay? Hang on one second. Yes.
You're really cute. You're really cute. You're really cute.
And Brendan, my partner, has that as my ringtone when I call him, but he said I wasn't allowed to put that as his because he's a man. It's like, okay. So this is actually what I have for him. Hang on one second.
Smoking hot. Smoking hot. Smoking hot. Smoking hot. Smoking hot.
So, hey, and if anyone's listening and wants to, like I said, go to iTunes, look up Dan, XAN. This actually goes towards his college fund. So how does it get any better than that, hey? And you have some really fun ringtones as well. So, hey, I'm really enjoying this show, Lisa, and
thanks.
To cover, because so many, we're talking about infinite possibilities, which, you know, we have these tools, both you and I have been, you know, certified facilitators of access for quite some time. We use them. We get stuck. We use them. We choose something strange. We use the tools. Like, you know, it gets really uncomfortable and then it gets comfortable and, you know. And to some people, this is a totally different ball game. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, especially in business, because people are meant to have, you know, as you said before, it's like these projections or the budgets, or you're meant to reach certain goals, and it's like all this stuff, and it's like, none of that really makes me feel lighter. But the one thing I see that people go to all the time, especially in business, is conclusion. And it's like, and conclusion will never create anything. So what I'd love to ask you too, it's like, what are some of your favorite tools or questions to switch it up from conclusion and turn it into infinite possibilities, into possibilities, like it actually is possible. So,
well, first I think people need to realize that conclusions are not real, because I think they're so trained that they have to have conclusions to even be able to talk about what they want to achieve. Or if I'm in a company and I work with them, they have to deliver the right conclusions to tell or show their boss that they're on the right way. That's why we're doing it, because we have done da 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 da. So it's basically, conclusions is everything you have done in the past that has so-called worked, but it's so limited. And for me personally, that was also a way I learned some of it. Some parts of my business when my parents were really at the edge, it was really interesting to see, because they were trying to find the next trend, and they were quite good at that. And they had to ask them some areas questions about that and become aware how we're leading towards that. But one of my favorite tools when it comes to conclusions or everything I've decided is right is destroying and uncreating my relationship with my business, with the people I work with my projects, with my thoughts even. Everything I believe in, everything I've created today, I destroy and uncreate that. I do that every day as often I remember. Once in a while, I didn't do that yesterday. Because one of the things that changed for me is like it's great because if I let it go, amazing. Because then, like when I use this clearing, the next day there's like I wake up and there's a space where like, oh, I don't feel like drag in everything to the new day of creation. And in worst case scenario, when it doesn't work, I'm aware of, okay, I created some things today. I created also some conclusions. I might have created some points of views about it because I feel it's great and awesome. Even like when I'm really positive, the next day I could go on and say, yes, this is a great idea and we should do this because blah, blah, blah. And instead of asking questions, because things can change along the way, they can change. And I've seen that sometimes my mind wants to stick with something so it has something to hold on to. It's getting more used to not having that, but it still tries to once in a while. It's like it's the job to know what is or what has been, or to be able to reason. I mean, I grew up in Germany. You had to reason for everything. It's like the best place to learn how to have conclusions and right point of view. Sorry for all Germans now, but it feels that it's like a mecca of that. And it doesn't create any. Like, the conscious creation for me is when I'm willing to be in the question, when I'm willing to use tools. And everything I have believed I was, everything I have created, like everything you believe in, everything you created today, can we just try and create that? Everything is Disney. Good and that right around front, fuck all my shirts, boys and yachts. And in the beginning, I was like, but everything I believe in or everything I have been or everything I've chosen, I was sometimes like, but who am I afterwards? And when I went for that and really start looking at that, I'm like, I'm everything I want to be. I could be anything today. But if I limit Lisen to be blah, 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 or she's good at that, or she's not good at that, I will just be reinventing myself every day. And that's kind of a little bit bored. And I can say that's one of the things I love with Access, and I was so happy when I started doing Access in classes and changing my life, because nothing was the same. It's, yes, you can call it modality, but it changes all the time. Every modality I've been to, also when it comes to business, has been so like the same. It has had the concept. You build on that. It changed a little bit. And I always got bored. So after maybe a year and a half into anything I'd done, I usually started letting go of it because I was like, there has to be something better. And I have been doing this over 6 years now, and I'm still not bored.
No, I'm the same way. So I remember saying to Gary one time, I mean, I've been involved in Access for like 14 years, and it's like I've never stuck to anything that long because, like you, it's like I got bored. So it's like, how many things out there are you still functioning from, everyone listening, that you're totally bored with? And it's like two of the things that Lisen kept mentioning throughout this segment here is change and also conscious creation. And it's like, so what if you're actually willing to change your entire life and your entire business? And it's like, I mean, you know, if you were choosing what you really wanted to be when you grow up, what would you choose? Even if you're 80 now, it's like, what would you like to choose? Because you can change anything, and you can choose anything. And it's like, you've got to start asking questions. And it's like, you've got to start sort of being willing to, you know, live outside the box, choose outside the box, and jump outside of the box. And sometimes it's not easy. That's why that mantra of Access, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory, is brilliant. Because sometimes you're like, whoa, this is a bit sticky. But it's like, you know what? And it's like, what if something greater showed up? What if you were willing to step outside of the box and have something greater show up and have that place of change and conscious creation? I'd love you to talk a little bit more about the conscious creation part too, Lisen. What is that? What's conscious creation?
I just want to refer to one more thing. For me, it's like, because I see so many people, because I coach quite a few people that start business or change businesses. And one thing that always sticks people is that they have this point of view, it's limited. They can only do so much, or it's only so much possible, or age thing, like I can't change now. Like we have so many definitions of our limitations, and we don't have as much almost like curiosity in the possibilities. And I so do wish this world and all the people to really get that and be willing to go there. And that's why I look at this conscious creation, because it's you willing to use your consciousness, your awareness to create something different. But I haven't seen anything work if you don't ask questions about it. I only see that people love and refer to their limitations again. And I would love, what would it take for that to change on the whole planet? And I was like, I'm not willing to give up until that has changed, kind of thing. And even if that means I have to come back once more. But I wish to change that in the next couple of years. Because I see every person has awareness, every person has consciousness, but not everybody has learned how to use that to create their lives. And that is something that we can change, we can choose, and there are tools for that, there's possibilities, and if you don't give up on you with something that you know you can change, or even if you believe you can change it and you do not give up on yourself, it will change. And it's also not only from problems. You can also look at, okay, what are you creating? If your business is successful, do you want to take it to the next level? What things could you add there that would create something very different for you? I've been coaching some people that are working on in companies in quite high positions, and they do all know this about their gut feeling, and they usually are very aware, but they don't have words to it. So if I say, like, use your awareness or consciousness, they don't always know what to do with that because they haven't they haven't connected with those words always. It's something they just know, or something like, yeah, but I read body language. I'm like, you're reading beyond that. But okay, if that works for you, let's talk about that. So that's a conscious way of also like implementing that in different areas, this realms, to be able to see how we can change things.
Yeah, and I think it's a place of coming out of conscious creation too. It's coming out of judgment, and it's like, especially in business, and it's like, what if there was no right and there was no wrong? And it's like, what if you didn't start a business by looking at how, you had to make it right? What if you started a business because it was the joy of it, because you actually wish to create something different? And it's like, I think nowadays people do get that there is a different possibility in the world. I mean, if you look at all of our movies, that are out there in the world today, and it's like people are tapping into the energy of the difference of what is available. I mean, like Avatar, and it's like that was such a movement movie that came out, and it's like, because it taps into what you know. And it's like, Access Consciousness tools are about empowering you to know that you know. And it's like, what if we were all willing to function from our awareness, like Lisa's been talking about, and your awareness is what you know. It's not copying somebody else. It's not duplicating somebody else and doing it the same as somebody else. It's what do you know? Every single person has a different awareness of what can create a greater possibility, create the infinite possibilities, and create life. And it's like, you're the one that's living it. And it's like, are you actually living it the way you truly desire to live it? And it's like, what if you never went to the wrongness and you never went to the rightness, because the rightness will lock you up just as much as going to the wrongness? And it's like, what could you create? What infinite possibilities are available if you're functioning from the willingness to change, asking questions, the willingness to be a contribution, and also receive contribution. And everything it doesn't allow that to show up, we destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all names, shorts, boys and beyonds. And, if you're there listening and you've listened to the shows here, and it's like, even any of this sort of flies, close to home, where you're like, something about them, what they're saying makes sense to me. Go check out the website of accessconsciousness.com. And it's like, you can find Lisen under there, Lisen Bengtsson. She's, certified facilitator. I'm on there, Simone Milasas. We have over 2,000 bars facilitators around the world. And bars is I've mentioned it before, but it's the hands-on process that there's 32 different points on the head, and when you touch them, and it's like all of those limitations, the thoughts, feelings, emotions, judgments start to dissipate. So go get your bars run. Check it out. Find a facilitator. You go to bars.accessconsciousness.com. I swear to God, it will change your life. And we're going to be back really soon for our last segment with Lisen Bengtsson and Simone Milasas on Joy of Business, creating a life and business with infinite possibilities. Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic Access Consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Milasas, on the Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
The Conscious Parenting Radio Show provides inspiration and resources for loving, empowering, and respecting your children and yourself. Join me, Timothy, every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as we consciously explore proven ways of living together in happiness, health, and harmony.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hi everybody, you're back. Joy of Business with Simone Milasas, your host. I'm in cold, drizzly Sydney, Australia. And Lisen is in sunny Sweden, apparently. So how does it get any better than that? And we're talking about creating a life and business with infinite possibilities.
Oh, yes. And one of the things that you connected before the break, Simone, was judgment. You can't have infinite possibility with judgment. And I don't know. I agree so much, and it's so true. And I just wanted to refer to one thing. When I started my own company in Sweden, because I moved from Germany then to Sweden, it was one of the things I basically learned in business school is to judge things and to look if it's working or to whatever it was. But I was filled of judgments. And when I started doing Access, it was one of the things I had to look at the first, like the judgments I had about myself. And I've been since then looking at that because every time I change a judgment and let go of one, something changes in my world. Even in my body, it changes. I use my whole body for business. Like, I ask my body questions even to create stuff. And if I hadn't changed that, I don't know if I've ever would be able to create a business I really, really enjoyed or was happy with. And I'll constantly look at things. So things change. And then if I'm unhappy, I know how quickly I destroy things for me. And that I have really looked at that it's not okay to choose things that where I then choose to destroy myself or anybody else for that matter. Destroy doesn't mean I go and blow up a house. It means basically I start judging things and internally make things really bad. And then it unfortunately sometimes also creates in the outside world. But if you're willing to look at what judgments you have about that and use a clearing statement, it really starts changing. And I was chatting with somebody yesterday that was giving me thousands of reasons justification why she had no money and why she was stuck and why people were really mean at her and or superior to her or whatever. I'm like, wow, if she would only start using the questions and using the clearance statement, her world could really change because I really could see like where she was stuck. And that's what I love about this, like about Access and all the certified facilitators and bars facilitators around the world, contributing to people, creating a different space so they have choice to choose something else. Because we're so easily stuck in our points of views, what is right and wrong, what I'm supposed to do, what I'm not supposed to do. And I was well trained by that too. And when that started to change, I could really start looking at what would be fun. And just lately, like in Paris, I was talking to Blossom, some other people, like we were looking at what would happen if I created what I created was really from joy, that I really loved it and I wasn't controlling it. I wasn't trying to find out how to do it. And just when I came home from Paris, like things started to unfold really quickly. And this has started with the whole benevolent capitalism, just a very different mindset. And like everything is like a piece in the puzzle of changing things, not only for me, but in a bigger picture. But personally for me, it's like, wow, letting go of the how to do things or control. And I had a new idea of an app and I had no clue how to do it. It felt really heavy because I'm not a tech person in that area. And then I just talked to this person that I basically dated, and he gives me a totally new perspective on it. And in 5 minutes, he lets me know how to do it. And I'm like, really? I'm like, oh my God. Things can be really easy if I allow it. And I'm like, how many more people am I willing to allow in my world to create something that I desire or anything? And people are really there. And I was like, okay, I have not been nice to the world or to me, so I would really like to change that. So I have to really look at myself too.
And I'm sure you're the only one in the world that's been doing that. So, Lisa, what's some of the pragmatic tools that someone could take away from listening to this show that could start to get them out of judging themselves and judging what they have created or haven't created?
So one of the things, basically, exactly that. I started asking that question. Anywhere I'm judging myself, anything I judge I haven't done, I'm not good enough, I destroy and uncreate that. Basically what I do, any point of view that comes up in my head, I ask a question to destroy and uncreate that. But I have to be willing to be honest to myself, because I know some days I'm not willing to, and then I can use the clearing statement from morning to evening and nothing will change. When I'm really willing to be there, it takes maybe a couple of questions and it changes. So I have to be willing to change for myself. Otherwise, it's like fighting a battle with myself. So are you willing to take any energy and start destroying and creating that and allowing there to be a space of possibilities? Unknown. I mean, it can be really uncomfortable in the beginning when it becomes unknown. But in that uncomfortableness, what if you start asking questions? Like it could be basically, what else is possible? How does it get any better than this? What can I create today? And I love, what else can I add to my life that will create more money, more business, more joy now and for the future? And as Simone said earlier, like you can ask that, like what else can I add to my life at any point. And I remember hearing, I think you said it too, but also like Gary and everybody, and I was like, okay, even when you have so much to do that you don't want anything else, ask the question. because you are not the one maybe that has to do it. You can still add more. And I remember being full on. I was hosting classes, having my own classes, and I'm part of the project. And I felt like I don't even have time to eat. And I was like, what do I do when I'm overloaded? Oh, I'll ask what else can I add to my life. And I thought I was insane in that moment. And it was so hilarious because it was so fun to go, okay, I'm overloaded with the to-dos at the moment, but that does not mean I'm overloaded in the creations. And that started changing my life. Like, I'm not always the one who has to do everything, but am I willing to create more? And when I went out of control of creation, where I had too much, I knew there was a very different way to create.
I love that, because it's like, what if you never stopped your creation? It's like, how many judgments are you currently using to actually stop and limit your creation? Whereas creation is infinite possibilities. So everything is that is times of Godzilla can we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, cock and pot, all nine shorts, bodies and millions. Hey, I just want to ask you, well, tell the listeners also, if you have any topics that you'd like to cover out there, you can email OMTimes at accessjoyofbusiness.com. That's OMTimes at accessjoyofbusiness.com. And go check out our website. It's actually up. It's brand new. accessjoyofbusiness.com. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's professional. You're going to adore it. You're going to love it. And there's lots of Joy Business facilitators around the world as well. So, and one of the things I wanted to ask you, Lisen, is you've got some classes coming up as well. Can you tell the listeners a little bit more about them and where they can find you?
Yes, and I just want to pitch in. I often, when I start the day and I don't know what to do, I sometimes put on your show, Simone, and just start my day by listening, asking the questions, and listening to what you talk with the people, the guests you have. It's really, really cool. I'm really grateful for your show. It helps me even a lot in my beginnings of my days with I'm not on my best. I was saying behavior, but that was not what I meant.
Well, no, it is. You're not on your best behavior because you're not being you, maybe. And it's like, you know what? When you're the lightness of you and you have this huge joy in your world, and it's like, that's when you are being you. So it's like, hey, sometimes you need something to knock you. Monkey. And every time I asked, that's the book I got, and it's in audio, and I would play it at night while he slept. And it's like he'd wake up in the morning and he'd be him again. And it's called Being You, Changing the World. You can get the book or you can get it on audio as well, and it's in quite a few different languages. So check it out. You can check that out at drdanehere.com as well. So let's go back to you, Lisen. What classes have you got coming up?
I have. So, guys, you know that I speak German. So I've been starting to put a little more energy in Germany because, wow, I speak German and I'm not facilitating yet. So I started doing that in Germany. So I have one class that is called Global Creation. I have it in here in Sweden too, but I haven't set any dates yet. So it's one thing about creating and using all your tools to create whatever you like in your life. That's in Germany. So if you speak German, that's awesome. And then I have Right Voice for You. Doing some more classes, especially next year, because I've been so full in projects that I haven't been able to set up so many classes myself. And then I do have one class that Ricky Williams, former famous football player, he and I do some classes. I think it's about once or twice a year we do one called Faster Change Now, where we basically bring up our favorite tools of access, look at them, and whatever question you have, whatever you would like to look in your life, we look at that, change things, and just create a space. Basically, again, infinite possibilities. Not trying to tell you what to do or where. It's really empowering you to choose and create your life. And has been a lot of fun. We have been doing that in Copenhagen and in Amsterdam. This time it's going to be in Copenhagen. It's the second weekend in December. And it's even going to be translated into German because we have had so many people asking for that. So the dates are I was going to say the 11th now, but that might be wrong. No, it's 11th to 13th. I just had to double check that. So you're welcome to join us in Copenhagen. Last time we had people flying in from the States, and we had a lot of fun. So it's going to be. Ricky is amazing in that.
I might ask Ricky and you to join me on an OMTimes radio show one day on that, because that sounds like a great topic.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Let's do that. Fast change.
Fast change. And it's so fun because people judge, like, Should it be fast? No, not really. Maybe just the speed and space that you be as a normal person, like you being, not what you're supposed to do or anything. And it was so funny because that often is the question with people. Does it have to be fast? No, it doesn't. That's not.
No, look, if you watch Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, he has this relaxation of creation that is quite incredible. And it's like, what if it wasn't about being manic and it wasn't about creating chaos? It was actually about relaxing into creation. And it's like, what could you create from that? And it's like, if you have a moment, like, I mean, you know, just take 5 minutes or something, and it's like, push all those barriers down that you currently have up, or all the judgments that you think that you have to, you know, do things really fast, or you have to make a million phone calls. Push all the barriers down, and then ask questions and be like, okay, so if I was, you know, relaxed with my creation, and it's like, how much more awareness would you have? You actually have this spherical awareness of possibilities that shows up. And it's greater than anything that you could ever work out with your mind. So everywhere that you're trying to currently work things out with your mind, destroy and uncreate it, because your mind is a wasteful thing, right? And wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all night, shorts, boys and beyond. So we are almost at the end of the show here, Lisa, and it's been an absolute sheer joy having you on here. I'd love to have you on again sometime.
Yes, I think that would be really fun. I think you would enjoy it.
Cool. And then you can wake up and listen to your own show. So you can also find Lisen on accessconsciousness.com, Lisen Bengtsson, and you can find her. She also does private sessions. And if you decide that you have always wanted to go to Copenhagen or Sweden, and maybe now is the time, and you can join her in one of her classes. Hey, what a good excuse. You go traveling, you go on a holiday, and you actually get to change your entire life. So like I said before too, please, if you have been listening to these shows and you haven't got your bars run, just go on to bars.accessconsciousness.com or go on to Access Consciousness website and see if you can find someone who runs bars and get your bars run. If you are finding it difficult to find someone, then email me at OMTimes@accessjoybusiness.com and we'll give you the information. So thank you so much, and we'll catch